Hi, gang. I'm Jordan. This is Simon.
And I'm Simon.
And we have absolutely no idea what we're going to start calling this little podcast thing. Oh, I should probably turn on the audio version.
So we could actually...
Yeah, right? Alright, record offline.
Take two!
There we go. Alright, hi, I'm Jordan.
Still recording. Good.
It's
I'm Simon.
And we have absolutely no idea, let's just do something Batman-ish since we're going to do Batman. Like Legends of the Dark Knight or something like that.
Dawn of Justice.
Dawn of Justice, yeah. But this is a podcast that, if you're listening, the idea of it is to go back to our childhood, I guess, and relive some animation like domination from the 90s and 2000s, starting with Batman the Animated Series. If you're listening to this, awesome. If you want to watch me and Simon be awkward with each other, there's also a video version that we're recording at the same time that you can probably find on YouTube or Facebook once it's completed. Anything you want to say, Simon?
Haven't been paid. No, you got it. I think you're good.
Alright. Eventually, what my goal was, thinking about this, was to not only go through the animated series, but also just any Batman whatsoever. Like, talk about some comics, talk about film adaptations of graphic novels, like we have The Dark Knight Returns here, that we're not going to get into today because we're going to watch the animated series, which is probably like my favorite comic book series, like cartoon series ever created. It is the comic book series. Well, you think about it, there's no, it sets the standard for anything. Honestly. Alright, so enough of me blabbing about what this is going to be. Let's get started. If you, here, go to episodes. How this is going to work out as well, if you're listening or watching, is it's going to act like a commentary to most of these episodes. So if you have the animated series Volume 1, we're on Disc 1, and I think we should start out with the first one we have on Leather Wings.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good place to start.
Alright.
So if you're watching, we're at the home screen right now. If you want to sync us up, or if you're listening, if you want to sync us up, we're at the episode selection on number 1 on Leather Wings, and we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. And there's the Warner Brothers Animation logo. That was something new going into this, that I had listened to Bruce Timm talk. Nobody ever used the Warner Brothers logo, incorporate it into a cartoon.
This terrified me as a child.
Really?
I was scared of those. It took me until last year to realize, oh, they're blimps. I didn't know that. Honestly.
Yeah. I love the style that it's timeless, but at the same time it's very retro and very noir.
Yeah.
And, well, considering that the majority of the things that we've been doing recently have been noir related, it makes sense that we like it so much.
Yeah. Right.
What's also interesting is to think about this show is inspired by, but not a direct adaptation or continuation of the '89 Batman film directed by Tim Burton, which I think says wonders for Warner Brothers as a studio back then, Warner Brothers Animation, that they just let these guys go off and do something completely unheard of, really. When did you start watching the animated series, Simon?
So when did it come out? 1990?
It came out in 90. I think it came out around the same time Batman Returns came out. So the same year, about 92.
92. So,
I mean neither of us were born.
I was watching it mentally in my mom's stomach, probably, because I'm sure my mom and my uncle watched all this stuff. I mean, I remember watching. This was the only thing that I watched. I hated Disney. I really liked Courage the Cowardly Dog until it scared the crap out of me with the guy returned the slab. I never watched that show ever again. So it was just this.
I love Courage the Cowardly Dog, dude. That's hilarious. We're gonna have to watch some Courage one of these days.
I'd rather not.
honestly, I didn't get into the animated series until when I was little. I loved Batman, but the only Batman that I had seen, I think this is like the first real memory that I have
Yeah.
of my childhood, is going to the store and seeing a Batman video cassette and taking it home and watching it, and my parents watching a completely different Batman than what I had. I was unfortunately watching Batman and Robin, and they were watching the good Batman, the 1989 Batman. And I kept asking if I could come out and watch that with them because I'd finished watching mine. They're like, "No, you just bought a Batman movie to watch. Watch yours." It's like, oh, that's terrible.
Crazy cats. Like when I was a kid, I thought that the '89 movie was almost like a sequel to the cartoons.
Yeah.
And it was kind of hilarious. Like, Nicholson's doing the more cartoony Joker. Nicholson was doing his own Joker.
Right. That was the president.
Yeah. Have you heard about the DC Collectibles new lineup?
No.
They're doing the animated figure, like, action figures. Like, you know, they have the new 52.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have Batman, Man-Bat, Poison Ivy, Joker.
That's awesome.
I'm excited.
I remember when I was little and I bought toys for this because by the time I actually started watching the animated series, it was in like 2000 and they had like the redesign, everything looked slicker, everything looked cooler.
It was the new Adventures.
It was the new Adventures and it was more focused on like Robin, Nightwing, and Batgirl and not as much on him anymore, but I had like the action figures that had the arms that they didn't have like opposable elbows, or like they were really stiff.
The good times.
The good old days when toys didn't hurt us. They didn't do anything at all. I know that going through like these early Batman cartoons, these first Batman cartoons were heavily inspired by the Fleischer Superman cartoons of the 40s. And you can see it in the design.
Yeah.
It's like if Fleischer decided to do a Batman cartoon, this is what it would have been.
Yeah. Incomplete Batman suit, even though he's in the Batcave.
Right.
Oh no.
Oh, no. Okay.
Sorry. Leg hit the...
Alright, so...
Not a big deal for anybody.
Yeah, for those of you watching, Simon accidentally hit the rewind button on the control.
I'm putting the remote like right here.
And
so now we don't have to worry about that.
Rewound us 10 seconds. So we're now officially 10 seconds behind what you guys are probably watching.
Just pause it real quick.
Pause it. You know what? Don't even, because I mean, we'll be talking about such obscure things anyway. It doesn't even really.
Yeah. Have we even connected to what happened in this episode?
This is
Man-Bat.
This is the Man-Bat episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the first episode on the DVD collection, but it wasn't the first episode to air.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, the first episode to air was the Catwoman episode, The Cat and Claw, part 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is, I think it's interesting that, and I think it's interesting too, if it came out in 92, that's probably the reason why, because Catwoman was in Batman Returns. And even the Penguin model in this set of cartoons, the first volume of cartoons, is modeled almost after the Danny DeVito Penguin.
Yeah.
And then you get into the new Batman Adventures and he looks like a human being, not like a freak.
Yeah.
So...
Danny DeVito did such a good job.
Danny DeVito did an amazing job.
Let's actually talk about this.
But anyway, this is the Man-Bat episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, considering that they're coming off of a quote-unquote realistic Batman with Michael Keaton and Tim Burton, I think it's interesting to think that first season, no less, that they decided to go, okay, well, let's do a Man-Bat story.
Yeah.
Let's do something...
Out of everything they could have done.
Let's do something completely out of the ordinary. Let's go have Batman against literally the Batman.
Which they need to do more with Man-Bat in, like, the media today.
Yeah, like he's...
Put him in the Arkham Put him in Arkham Knight. Put him in.
Yeah, put him
at least.
something. I don't think I have.
I haven't seen him in anything.
I haven't seen.
Well, I mean, like, you know, and like, yeah, he's
Yeah.
in the Batman.
Well, I mean, even in the comic books, I've read some. Like, I read Court of Owls. I read Death of the Family.
Yeah.
I've been reading the Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, or whoever the artist is of the new 52 Batman, and even Kirk Langstrom, his alter ego, isn't mentioned anywhere. It's like they and they've redone everything in the new 52, but it's like they completely erased him from existence.
Yeah.
So, which is sad.
So like,
Because he's such a, like, talk about Jekyll and Hyde characters.
Yeah.
Like, you have Two-Face, who is have literally the split personality, but you have the guy that can't control what happens when he transforms, and it's so. When you think of tragic villains, I don't think you get any more tragic than the Batman villains, honestly.
no.
But you don't really get that today. You don't get that because we have the psychotic, like the Joker and Bane, and that's the Batman villains we're exposed to
Yeah.
today.
I mean, in Dark Knight Rises with Tom Hardy, that was at the end.
At
it
the
was
end,
kinda
yeah.
tragic.
At the end, you kind of
A
get
little
it.
bit. I mean, it wasn't like all in your face, like, oh man,
Right.
hope
Like-
Bane's alive, but
Which, even in the comic books, Bane's backstory in the comic books
Yeah.
is so, they basically gave him the comic book treatment in the film.
Yeah.
It's like his backstory in that prison was basically, yeah. But I think when people look at the media now, comic book medium, and they look at villains, I think more so Spider-Man's villains have been getting more of the tragic backstories and plausible reasons to do what they do. Like, let's see, Kurt Connors in The Amazing Spider-Man was that was a tragic,
oh yeah,
that was the tragic backstory. Electro, even to a point in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, even though it was kind of, nah.
Doc Ock,
Yeah.
Alfred Molina, that was
Right. Well, definitely Sam Raimi's Spider-Man
Yeah.
movies. Those were all about Sandman and Spider-Man 3. As much as everyone dogs in Spider-Man 3, I actually really like that movie.
Right. They probably could have done someone different than Topher Grace, but I like Sandman.
Sandman was great.
Yeah.
But what are we talking about Spider-Man for? This is the Batman podcast.
Yeah.
I think it's also fun to note here the inspiration. For this scene in particular, I just see Batman Year One.
Yeah. It's so. This is so nostalgic.
It's seriously.
Just it.
I don't think the viewers at home and the viewers listening, I don't think you can completely grasp how Batman's like my life. Honestly, my favorite superhero is Batman. My favorite vehicle is the Batmobile. My favorite city in the United States is Gotham City, which doesn't exist to my knowledge, but if it does, I'm going to visit you one of these days.
Right. What's your favorite superpower?
Batman.
Batman.
So even that, like, right there, I
Yeah.
can see the panel from the
Yeah.
Batman Year One in my head.
I really want to build a collection of the new, I want Blu-rays of The Dark Knight Returns and War.
Yeah.
And
When I was going through and getting the tools ready to create this awesome podcast that we have now started, I was looking through and I bought the animated series Volume 1. Oh, excuse me. I bought Batman Beyond Volume 1.
oh, I love
Batman Beyond is actually, if we're gonna go with favorite iterations of Batman, I think Batman Beyond is like my favorite iteration of Batman. And I bought Under the Red Hood Year One, and then the deluxe edition of The Dark Knight Returns. So,
Out of all of my, obviously Mark Hamill, but Joe DiMaggio's Joker
yeah,
was amazing.
it was.
I thought it was really good.
I have a hard time
John DiMaggio.
John DiMaggio. I have a hard time differentiating though. I have a hard time picking out my favorite version of the Joker.
Yeah.
Just because, in my opinion, they've all been done so well.
Because, like, there's not one that's, like, better than the other. I mean, you know, there's the Mark
Right,
Hamill,
there's
the Heath Ledger.
There's
the Jack
not
Nicholson.
there's not any one that you're like, this is the definitive Joker. All right,
Yeah.
well, I take that back. I honestly, anybody watching this, the definitive Joker's Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
There's no question. Anytime you read a comic book, anytime you watch something, if you see the Joker, even if you're hearing a different voice in your head, the immediate first voice you're going to hear is Mark Hamill. You're just going to imagine his voice. But let's save Mark Hamill for a Joker episode. We'll get to a Joker episode next. But, I love the character designs.
Yeah.
So I like the new Batman Adventures character designs as well. They were a little bit more.
They were maybe more blocky?
They were blockier. They were sleeker looking.
Yeah.
These are, if you can believe it or not, they're simplistic.
Foreshadowing. No, but it's
they're simplistic looking character designs, but they look so complex.
yeah.
Like Bruce Wayne, okay, that's different. Like in normal street garb, that's okay. But Batman, it's just really, not a lot of.
Yeah.
If we're gonna talk about voices too, before we get to like the big one that we're all looking forward to when we get to the next episode, but Kevin Conroy is talk about definitive Batman. He is
Yeah.
Batman. You can say what you want about Christian Bale, say what you want about Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney. Yeah. And Ben Affleck. Let's hope that he gives us something good. But I
have faith in him.
Yeah.
Nobody else does, but I think he'll do. I think he'll do good. The costume looks good.
Yeah. I know that you guys are 10 seconds ahead, so you've heard Bruce Wayne speak and you've heard Batman speak already. We're at a point where he's speaking as Bruce Wayne on the phone whilst in his Batman garb. I think it's hilarious that he goes just talking to Bruce Wayne here, which is a little bit lighter, and immediately when he hangs up the phone, he's back to making Batman.
That's funny. I didn't notice that until.
It goes along with what listening to interviews with Kevin Conroy. He's like, Batman is the person and Bruce Wayne is the disguise, and a lot of people play it that way. But that exemplifies it right here, because that is to him the way he's dressed right now in the bat suit in the Batcave. That is him. He doesn't. He's most comfortable when he's wearing that and talking like that. No. I always thought that box was cardboard.
It's not cardboard.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Duh.
I mean, it's not cardboard, but like
Yeah.
when I first watched it, I was like, why would he put a flaming cartridge in a cardboard box? The cardboard box is just going to catch on fire.
Right.
Going back to the whole man-bat aspect, I do think that if this would have been the first episode, I know this is the first episode that they had made and produced, but if this would have been the first episode to air, honestly, I know that they did the Catwoman episodes because Catwoman was recognizable at the time, but I think that they would have been able to keep the audience and keep the viewership with this man-bat episode.
For sure.
I'm looking for Dr. March. He's not here. Batman. Where is he? Giving a lecture on human extinction and bat evolution. He's really quite rude. He's this guy. He's just a theorist. He was afraid.
I'm like thinking of this, and then I'm thinking like if they did a live adaptation of this episode, it would be a good Langstrom.
I
don't know why I'm thinking about that. I mean, I know we're supposed to focus on the.
Well, yeah, but I mean it's interesting to think about. Yeah,
Josh Brolin would be cool.
Josh
Brolin's good at anything.
Josh Brolin is really good at everything. I can see kind of Josh Brolin in this character design
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the character design, yeah, but
For some reason, yeah.
I see Brolin.
I do see Josh Brolin in there.
Yeah.
This transformation terrified me.
Yeah.
And I know it's a cartoon, and I know that it's...
For 92 or like 94, this is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
for it being marketed as a children's cartoon,
yeah.
this is probably one of the, next to Spawn, the animated series on HBO, this is probably one of the most adult-oriented cartoons I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, you go for, like, this cartoon wasn't just there to entertain, like, Brave and the Bold. I can't even go that far because I actually enjoy Brave and the Bold to an extent because it's a throwback to Silver Age comic books, and I love Silver Age.
Yeah.
But this cartoon, it's
See,
not
even that is so, like,
yeah.
good. He's not, I mean, well, yeah, he's a bad guy, but, like, that was just
He's
a cartoon. Like,
he's ashamed of what he is,
Yeah.
and have his wife sees that what he is just. But yeah, and you don't get that kind of complexity with cartoons nowadays. You definitely don't get that complexity.
right?
And it's the animation too.
Like I said, I haven't seen any of Beware the Batman, but I don't know if, like, because I think that's the newest
Yeah, that.
Batman.
Yeah, it is. I think it got canceled too. I think it only went
I'm
like
sure
a,
it did,
I think
yeah.
it went like a season, but
The closest thing that I've had to enjoyment since past this is probably the Batman.
the Batman. I have a love-hate relationship with
Yeah.
the Batman, and I know eventually we're going to have to get into the Batman doing all of this. God willing, we keep doing this.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why we can't.
Yeah.
Screw you people that don't even watch. We're doing this for us now.
Yeah. We don't even need you.
We don't even need you. This is just for our entertainment. But, I mean, please,
Yeah,
like, subscribe, do
don't.
whatever.
Don't just go ahead and hit pause. And
Yeah, don't just, we love you guys. We really do.
But there's definitely, like, Batman Beyond so
Yeah.
crazy. Like, Batman Beyond and then this. For me, like, Batman Beyond and this probably have a tie. And then Batman, the new animated series. And then, like, I remember Superman and I don't remember if I saw the Superman and Batman movie before this, but I know I saw Mask of the Phantasm before this.
Oh, we
And
definitely
that
have
was-
to. Oh, I should have
yeah.
brought Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah,
I
that's
think-
a classic.
yeah.
That's just like,
I think the next time we do this, after we do Dark Knight Returns, I think I'll bring Year One over and I'll bring Mask of the Phantasm because
oh yeah.
if you've read Year One, have you read Year Two, the comic book Batman Year Two?
I haven't read it.
Mask of the Phantasm is almost an adaptation of Batman Year Two. And I think you watch Year One and then you watch Batman Mask of the
Yeah.
Phantasm and they complement each other so well. Or you read Year One and you watch Mask of the
Yeah,
Phantasm.
right.
And they're just great. So great. When you think about Gotham City, are you like me and you think immediately of the animated Gotham City, or do you think of...
I think of that that scene in '89 when, like, right before Nicholson's, like, going into Ace Chemicals.
Yeah.
I think that one shot where it's
Yeah.
like the street and, like, I don't know where they filmed that at, but that's when I first.
Yeah. Well, that was all filmed on a studio.
Yeah.
So that was with miniatures.
Not real.
and- yeah.
But either way, that's immediately what I think of Gotham City.
Gotham City, yeah. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Detroit for Batman
Yeah.
Superman, because Detroit's doubling over as Gotham. Honestly, for me, when I think Gotham City, I do animated series pops in my head, but 89 as well, because they're both molded kind of in the same way, where it's definitely set in it's kind of timeless.
Yeah.
But you can tell that it's heavily inspired by the 40s and the 30s architecture.
Yeah.
I really don't think about Chicago as much as I probably should, because
Me either. I
as
mean,
much as I'm in Chicago a lot, and as much as I'm live close to Chicago. We filmed this in Mishawaka, Indiana. I live in Michigan. Yeah, I think animated series in '89 kind of come together. And the only reason I bring that up is because there's so many different shots of Gotham in this episode alone.
Yeah.
That it really.
You said this wasn't the first episode to air, but I think it's kind of important that Man-Bat, he can fly. You can get all those good shots of Gotham.
When you're for a filmmaker's perspective, which we both, by the way, are. Yeah. It's very... Okay, so those of you who are 10 seconds ahead, you finished On Leather Wings 10 seconds before us. Good for you.
Wait.
I'm so sorry that we didn't actually talk that much about On Leather Wings. Well, hold on one second. Let's see. Oh, okay, the audio is about to give out in a second. So before we start with the next episode, I'll end the audio podcast. For those of you watching on video, there's not going to be a break for you. But if you're listening, you can catch up with us on part 2. And I think for our next one, we should watch The Last Laugh. Because that's a Joker episode. It's a very heavy Joker episode.
And Christmas with the Joker isn't a Joker episode. No, I'm kidding.
We'll watch that.
To my knowledge, that's a Joker.
Because Christmas with the Joker has Robin in it, and I think you throw Robin in there before you.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird the way they arranged this on the disc.
Yeah, it is really. I wonder if they arranged it in the arrangement that they were the way that they were produced, or. Yeah. All right, but anyway, thanks for listening. Catch up in part 2. You audio viewers, you listeners.
Should I stop recording later?
You guys can keep. You guys are good. I'm just going to. There we go. Next. Back. Okay, and we have another half hour on the clock. Hold on. Go back. Exit. Technical difficulties, my friends. I apologize. We're working out the kinks. First time. Hey, Bat fans, welcome back. This is part 2 of the animated series commentary recordings that we're doing. For those of you watching on the video, of course, there was no break. For those of you listening, there was, because audio is a very different entity from video camera devices, yeah. Especially considering I'm not nearly advanced as my friend here is, and he has his fancy pants camera, and I have my iPhone. But he does work at Apple, so I think it's a compliment to him that I'm using an Apple product for said. Anyway, if you're tuning in right now, we're just about to start The Last Laugh. It's the 2nd episode, the 4th on the DVD list, but the 2nd episode that we're going to partake in, and it is the first full-length one for us with the Joker magnificently played by Mark Hamill. So if you're watching on video and if you're listening to the recording, go down to number 4, The Last Laugh, on the episode screen, and hit play in 3, 2, 1, go. And the Warner Brothers logo just appeared. Can I just say, for an opening animatic, this is probably my favorite opening to a cartoon ever.
I was definitely going to say, no other opening, does as much justice as this.
Right. It doesn't even have to say Batman, the animated series on it. It has no title card whatsoever. It's just Batman being Batman.
And it's not him fighting any distinct villains. It's all silhouette, and it's all just so.
To compare, Superman the animated series did almost the same thing, except at the end they had the Superman logo, and that was their ending thing, which I think.
Which we're gonna get into those too, right?
We are. It'll
get there.
It'll get there.
We'll get there.
If we do this right, we should do the entire animated series, then the new Batman Adventures, and the Superman the Animated Series kind of at the same time.
Yeah.
Because at the time Superman the Animated Series was going, they did the crossover with Batman. And so if we did World's Finest, I think were the episode's titles, before they made it the Batman Superman movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should definitely do that. I love the music.
Yeah.
For those of you not kind of savvy with the whole how like the production that went into the making of all of these. And I love that clown. I love Captain Clown.
This is so classic.
This might be one of my favorite. This is probably like in my top 10 favorite episodes of the animated series. But the music is composed and conducted by Shirley Walker, who conducted the orchestra for the '89 soundtrack for Danny Elfman's soundtrack. Danny Elfman wrote the music and was there, but she was a conductor for the orchestra. And they asked her. They used Danny Elfman's Danny Elfman wrote the main theme for the animated series, but the rest of the music is entirely Shirley Walker, and it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good that you think about Danny Elfman when you listen to it, but then it's like it's its own beast. I do find it kind of hard to believe that this is kind of jumping ahead in the episode, but there's a point where the Joker's thugs go in water to get the loot from that truck that just went over the bridge.
Yeah.
I kind of find it far-fetched that they anticipated that was going to happen, and they go down and get whatever's in there.
Right.
Also, if you're listening to this, Alfred sounds completely different than from the first episode on Leather Wings.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's a completely different voice actor.
And don't they keep this one?
Yeah, this is the one that they keep with through the entire DC animated universe. And when I think of Alfred, that's the voice I hear.
Yeah.
Alfred, hit the radio, would you? Right away, son. Traffic is at a standstill in the Gotham Expressway where a trailer full of pigs is overturned.
Also, I want to apologize for any of you listening,
Gotham police are investigating a serious...
because I don't think you understand just how enraptured we get with these cartoons.
Yeah, because like I know we're supposed to talk about them, but I'm just watching
They're so, you get drawn in.
Sounds like a rather
I love this line.
April Fool's prank. Sounds like the Joker.
The Joker. Also, what did they spray on that garbage that just makes everybody go insane? I mean, I know it's like the Joker's toxin or whatever, but still, it's a green liquid. I'm never going to understand how it works,
Yeah.
but I don't care because it's just comic book gold and it's cartoon gold.
And it's just awesome.
It's just so,
And I just love it how like definitive. I mean, you know, how definitive this made Joker. I mean, yeah, they're stealing money,
yeah.
but like, Man-Bat does it for science, and like
Joker does it because he's
Joker just does it
batshit
just
crazy.
because he just wants to.
Look at this. He hasn't said a word yet, and I'm already just like, oh, Joker. And that voice. When I found out that Luke Skywalker was the voice of the Joker, I went crazy.
I was in disbelief.
I didn't believe it at all until I watched the special features on this. Great, I've known this since before I bought the DVD. My cousin had it and I watched it before. But when his face popped up and it was Luke Skywalker, I was like, there is no way. There's absolutely no way. And then you go on YouTube and he does the voice in person. And it's like, oh my god.
I would just love to meet him. And I probably wouldn't ask him to do the Joker voice, mainly because that's probably what he gets.
He gets asked to do it. I've listened to him in interviews, and to throw a plug in here, Fat Man on Batman, if you've never listened to Fat Man on Batman, it's a podcast Kevin Smith does, which honestly inspired me to want to do this. He doesn't do just straight commentaries of episodes like we're doing. He talks like he's talked to Kevin Conroy, he's talked to Paul Dini, he's talked to Mark Hamill. And listening to Mark Hamill talk and describe his experience and describe how he thought he would never be asked to be the Joker because he was Luke Skywalker, because he was so iconic as being the nice guy. It's incredible to listen to. And God willing, one of these days, we have the notoriety to call Mark Hamill and be like, come watch some Batman with us and talk.
God. That'd be so awesome.
And at that point, those of you watching would just be watching me and Simon go.
No, we wouldn't even be talking.
We'd be watching Mark
I'd
Hamill.
probably, like...
Mark Hamill would just be sitting there, probably bored out of his mind, and we're just like...
Hopefully he doesn't see this, but...
Yeah.
Like,
Mark Hamill, if you end up watching this, I love you. Just don't, you know...
don't get turned off.
Don't get... Please. My name's Jordan York. I live in Buchanan, Michigan. Please come watch Batman with me.
Alfred, I left the hex key upstairs in the den. Would you bring it down? Oh, go fetch it yourself. Very funny, Alfred, but I've no time to play. Alfred. Alfred.
I think it's very artistic-wise. When you animate Batman, you have a visual image in your head from the comic books,
Yeah.
especially when during this period when the comic books were still like you're still dealing with Neil Adams artwork and stories from Frank Miller.
Yeah.
The way that you get Batman's expression through his eyes with the white slits in his eyes from his mask. The way that they animate that and make them moving and like you get the expression through his eyes, which you can't capture on film, obviously. But I think it's a unique way to give the character some expression when obviously you can't get much expression from just the mouth, the exposure of the mouth.
Yeah.
In animation, there'd be no way that they could do that without showing. I mean, Spider-Man's eyes move in the cartoons and the comic books. He's got those giant white lenses. Batman's eyes do the same thing. But the way it's animated is so wonderful in this.
Okay, let's shoot it. This place is giving me the creeps. I'm here in downtown Gotham where corporate CEOs have gone stark raving mad. It would appear that the collapse of the stock market is
Joker plus 100%. Ha 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 ha. I never noticed that before until I was watching it right now.
Me either.
The only things gaining now are the laughing stocks.
And like, even the Joker's like jokes, like I know there's in one episode where like Joker says, oh God, he says like it's one thing to have Batman on my tail, but the IRS,
No, thank you.
Like, Mark Hamill is so good at just being like even like when I was a kid, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
But like watching back, they created just a classic that can be watched over and over again, and you
Yeah.
can still find new things about.
You
about
can
it.
watch. They put jokes and they put jokes. The Joker puts jokes in there, but the writers put jokes in there that you can appreciate when you're a kid, but when you're an adult and you're going back and watching it, or you have a better consciousness of it, they're so much more layered and there's so much more meat to sink your teeth into. It's just you find something new or you find something else enjoyable every single viewing. They never get old. They never get stale. I could sit here and watch The Last Laugh 30 times in a row for the rest of my life, every day for the rest of my life, and I would still find it so enjoyable. And not a lot of things have that kind of rewatch value.
You're a real naughty boomer. Why don't you take your mask off and have a few laughs?
And the laugh.
Yeah.
I did not know that it was a robot until he broke that cord.
Oh, he is a robot, isn't he?
Right?
Yeah.
Now, in terms of Joker, animated style, do you prefer this Joker? Do you prefer the just black pupiled eyes only Joker from the new Batman Adventures? Or do you like the kind of mix that they gave when they did Batman Beyond Return of the Joker and Justice League?
I like I like this one, and especially because when they did Batman Beyond and had Mark Hamill come back, that's exactly how he would look when he's older.
Right.
Like, even though, I mean, you know, spoiler alert, but, like, you know, Return of the Joker, but, like,
Yeah.
it's so, like, this is really cool, and I don't know why, but I kind of like the Batman Joker, like,
The dreadlocks Joker?
yeah, there's something about that that's, like,
I like-
maybe just because it's so different
Yeah.
from what I've
I like
seen.
the voice actor. I like Kevin Michael
Yeah.
Kevin Michael Richardson does the voice of the Joker in the Batman animated series. Not this Batman animated series, the Batman animated series. I love this line too. Looks like our air holes are water holes too. Oh man. I mean, yeah, that Joker is. I think once they got rid of the straight jacket version of him and they
Yeah.
actually gave him the purple suit, it was a little bit better. He still didn't wear shoes, and that always annoyed me. It's
That was weird.
the Joker. I mean, I don't care. Don't care that he's insane. Give the man some shoes.
It's just, he's a criminal. At least he can probably afford shoes.
I mean, and even like, okay, you're going for batshit crazy. But I mean, Heath Ledger's Joker was 10 times crazier than the Batman's version of the Joker, and he wore shoes. He wore shoes. The man cut his face,
Probably didn't buy the shoes.
but he still wore. He still wore.
shoes. Probably. Yeah.
I think I like, for animated style, this will always be my favorite version of the Joker. The early Batman animated series will be my favorite version of the Joker.
Yeah.
Number 2 would be Justice League Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, because he looks like this.
Yeah, the Justice League one.
Yeah. He looks like this, but he has the updated kind of artwork style.
Yeah,
he's
it fits in more.
He's sleek. He looks a little bit sleeker. He looks a little bit more polished. And then I do enjoy the other Joker where it's just
The new anime.
the new anime where he just has his white pupils. He doesn't have like a red. He just has teeth for a grin. He doesn't have the red lips.
Yeah.
I like that too, but I mean, yeah. I never understood why they changed his appearance the way they did. I know that as a cartoonist and as an illustrator, you want to update your look every now and again. I can get that completely.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand how they redid the Joker the way they did. Like, I could get redoing Batman because you just give him a different costume and you make him a little bit blockier, and that's fine. But you got rid of the Joker's irises and whatnot. I mean, that's not...
They kind of reversed Batman.
Right. Look at that. That's...
The cape.
The way they got the cape to move, the animation style is just so... Oh, man. Also, surprisingly, the bat logo, the bat emblem on his chest is nicely animated as well. Like, I can't even draw a bat emblem that looks that good.
Yeah.
Let alone can I draw it 30 consecutive times for different frames of animation. I mean, you can tell at certain points when it looks completely different when he twitches or moves one way, but it's still great. In terms of bat suits for animation, do you like... Okay, my favorite bat suit's the Batman Beyond bat
That's
suit.
what I was gonna say. Batman Beyond.
But for Bruce Wayne Batman, do you prefer this bat suit, which is the gray, the black with the blue highlights, and then the yellow emblem, the bat emblem with the yellow seal around it, or the new Batman Adventures where it's the bulk bat symbol and it's the gray costume, gray belt, no blue undertone anywhere? Or to go further on, the Justice League version, which is basically this bat suit, longer ears to like accommodate Batman, the Batman Beyond kind of style,
Yeah.
but it had the blue highlights.
And just out of those three?
Out of those three.
The longer years were cool because I really liked. I loved the Batman Beyond.
Hold on 1 second. Just because this is the greatest line ever muttered by anybody in the history of anything. He gets so upset that he smushed his robot.
They stole my balloons.
They stole my balloons! Why didn't somebody tell me I had one of those things? And then immediately he goes into a joke. And it's great. And he rides... I just now noticed
He rides his
riding
dead
that
creation.
Yeah. This is the first time... I've watched this episode hundreds of times. That's the first time I've noticed that he's riding Captain Clown's box.
Realistically, Batman doesn't have a cape anymore. Got torn off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like how much you like can appreciate the work that went into this cartoon.
Right. Because if this cartoon was made in like the 50s or something like that, they would have animated him losing the cape, and then immediately the cape would have been back on him because capes are cool.
This is just so great.
Yeah.
Just because he's like just frozen.
Yeah. And now Batman's surfing. Or not surfing, yeah, kind of.
Sledding.
Sledding, there you go. There goes Captain Clown.
You killed Captain Clown.
You killed Captain Clown.
Isn't there an episode that goes into Joker's origin?
Mask of the Phantasm does.
Well, yeah. But
Mask-
like a TV episode.
I think in the new Batman Adventures, I have it on my phone.
Yeah.
The first and only episode that has the Creeper, that introduced the Creeper, who is in a very obscure DC comic book character, and they put
Considering
him.
he's Jack Ryder.
Yeah. And they put him in the animated series,
Yeah.
which is great because nobody has any idea. Like you say, Jack Ryder now, nobody has any idea who the Creeper is.
Right.
But yeah, they go into the origin of the Creeper, and they talk about the Joker's origin in that.
Yeah.
And they call back to Mask of the Phantasm too, because they say he worked for, I think it's the Valestra mob that he was the henchman for, and then they had the fall into the vat of chemicals, and then the way that he becomes the Creeper is the Joker throws him in the vat of chemicals with the laughing gas.
That is one of my favorite, along with Dr. Fate and all that. But
Yeah.
the Creeper,
I love that. I have.
You're going to melt just like a grilled cheese sandwich.
I just love the Creeper because he's like a creation of the Joker, and like he's just so like he's so creepy. Like I mean, he's yellow.
Yeah. Honestly, I have no idea what... I'm going to have to look this up. I have no idea what the Creeper's actual origin is in the comic books.
Yeah.
Whenever I think of the Creeper, I think of the animated series.
Yeah. Same here.
Justice will be served, Joker. Service with a smile. Clean up your act, Joker.
I love the music here. It's so tense.
Yeah.
Finally told a joke.
And then, to top it all off, just Mark Hamill's performance. Just like... I love this. I love the Batman smirk.
Yeah.
The Batman smirk.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, Joker. I did. And then this is completely how that...
foreshadowing. No. Well, kind of past shadowing.
Yeah, past shadow. But
Or-
the way that he fell was completely and utterly stupid and would never happen. He ran over the wire.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's taking a tumble to the side off the balcony into the fire.
And Batman saves him.
Yeah, Batman saved him, of
Obviously.
course. And then, hold on.
Taking 8 showers and I still feel soiled. Ugh, I've never seen so much garbage. What's wrong, Gotham? Aren't you feeling better? What's wrong, sir? I destroyed.
It is the same guy. For some reason, I thought it went back to the first one, but he just sounds sad.
I'll just take it
It's
Kind of a dick move.
A little bit of a dick move,
Yeah.
yeah. And then just right immediately afterwards.
April Fools.
Right.
Well, boys and girls, that was The Last Laugh. Like I said, top 10 when it comes to the animated series episodes. That's on my top 10. Probably not number one. My number one is probably Heart of Ice. And let's see, what time is it?
It's like 10:16.
10:16. How long have each of these episodes taken us? 20 minutes or so?
About that.
About that, yeah. Think we got time to squeeze one more in, or?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What time is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, you know what? No, we'll save it for another time.
Yeah.
We'll just, because it is getting late. I have to get up in the morning to go to work. You have your
Work.
cat. You have your cats
I have
to
my
attend
cats.
to. But anyway, you guys, thank you so much. What'd you think? Was it a?
I think it was successful. I think it was. I've never done a podcast.
Neither have I, and that's, I figured, what's a better way to test the waters than by watching something that we
Right.
both enjoy.
Exactly.
So that's a wrap. I think we decided Legends of the Dark Knight. If we're gonna start watching other things, we should probably change the title
Yeah.
up a little bit. But I mean, for now, Legends of the Dark Knight. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, viewers at home, for listening as well. I think the next go around we'll do Heart of Ice,
Yeah.
which is the Mr. Freeze episode. They took, just as a foreshadow, they took the writings of Paul Dini in this episode have become the canon mainstream origin story for Mr. Freeze, and it's such that it's rightful of the Emmy that it won, honestly.
Because if you liked Arnold Schwarzenegger falling into the ice.
Right, which even, and Batman Robin, credit to Batman
Yeah.
Robin, they took from Paul Dini's work.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a good backstory for a villain to have. Just, don't let Arnold Schwarzenegger make ice puns and you're fine. So, but anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your part 2 for listening. I'm Jordan. That was Simon. And we'll get back to you next time with probably Heart of Ice, and yeah, I'm definitely digging some Batman Returns.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
And Batman Returns. We're gonna
Everything.
We're gonna have to watch the movies. Oh, we're gonna have to watch Batman and Robin though. I'm not looking forward to that. But actually, you know what? We'll be able to do a riff tracks for Batman and Robin.
That'll be fun.
That'll be fun. Okay. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.